Welcome in the Ace Hotel in New York. We're going to have a tour of Jan Rozenveld, who's the general manager here, also a Dutch guy. So let's go in and find out what he can tell us about the Ace Hotel.
Hey Hans, hoe is die?
Heel goed.
Ja.
Well, we would love to see the Ace Hotel, and maybe you can give us a tour through the hotel and tell us more about what Ace exactly means.
I'd love to.
And what you try to achieve here in this beautiful place.
Sure, absolutely. So we opened up about a year ago actually, last week. It used to be a hotel in 1904 and then it got converted into an apartment building in the mid-80s. And then we bought the building about 5 years ago and converted it back into a hotel. The thing with the building is we like old buildings in particular because they have a lot of character. You have to work around things that, you know, typically in a new building you can make it to spec. We don't really like that. We like the imperfection. That is our perfection. So for instance, the floor that you see over here, it was covered underneath carpet and cement and what have you. And you know, we started ripping everything up and we found this, you know, beautiful 1904 floor. Same thing with the ceiling, was all covered up as well. It allowed us to obviously, you know, recreate everything the way it was in 1904, which was a great thing.
Yeah, sounds great.
So to your left over here is the actual reception desk where we bring everybody in.
And is there anything particular from the check-in, what you do differently if you compare it to traditional hotels?
Yeah, a couple of things. One, we try to make it very natural. There's no script or what have you, welcome to the Ace Hotel, or it's just like, hey, welcome to New York, or whatever they want to say. It's efficient, it's leisurely. I think that's one of the things in service that we provide. It is not as stiff. You can see in the uniforms of our staff. It's, you know, they're wearing Levi's jeans and, you know, loose ties and what have you. So I think those are all little pointers that people make feel that it's all very different. We believe in building a community within the hotel. We'd like to have a lot of the outside people that live in the city where we are. Mm-hmm. For instance, over here we want to have New Yorkers in the lobby that then congregate with people that come from outside of the city. So both of them get like this very worldly aspect and feel of what it is that happens in this whole place. It gives a great energy and it gives a great synergy as well. So what happens here is we have complimentary wireless internet. So people can actually sit here and just, you know, kind of do their business, you know, order a cup of coffee or a sandwich and, you know, use this as their office. So a very neat thing about the lobby also is that, you know, we have kind of like 3 different parts. We have the welcome area over here. You know, if you're staying in the hotel, people can actually, you know, wait for their guests. In the middle of the lobby, we have this long work table that, you know, obviously we see a lot of times in Europe as well. And instead of putting newspapers on it and magazines, we use this as our as a wireless internet hub. And then in the back of the lobby, we kind of like have the lounge and the bar area. The cool part about this bar is that it's an old library that we found in an apartment. We put in some old vintage furniture. As you can see, a lot of the furniture in the hotel is all individual. It's recycled, it's reclaimed. We find it in like old antique shows or vintage shows. And what we like about that is that it actually gives a second life to furniture, and it also gives you that feeling that, hey, it's been habited before. So another interesting part about the hotel is that one, we have this incredible vintage photo booth over here, which is really neat. And then right above that, we have this amazing New York artist called Michael Anderson, who gave us about 4,000 of his graffiti paintings, and he repasted it on the wall over here. So this is one of our medium king rooms actually. As you can see behind us, we have different art in all of the rooms that we have in the hotel. We collaborated with about 80 New York artists, and they all did their own interpretation of what they felt would be cool in the rooms. Every room is kind of like differently decorated, as we're working with all this vintage furniture. So, which makes it really feel like this New York apartment when you come stay with us. And That's kind of like the way everything was designed to make it feel like it is your friend's apartment in New York, which I think is very attractive.
Jan, there are quite some nice little details in this room, like the guitar, the pencil sharpener. Can you tell something about all these nice add-ons?
I think it for a lot of people it evokes some memory when they walk in the room and they used to play guitar or they haven't played guitar in a long time, so that they pick up the guitar and they start playing a little bit, and it creates a bond that you don't find in a typical room. It's a nice surprise. I think the same thing with the pencil sharpeners and with the smack fridges, and they're just all kind of like unexpected things, details in the room that make you go like, oh wow, and you remember it. So it tells a story by itself, and it all adds up to the whole, experience that I think a hotel and a hotel room should give. So now we are in the dungeon, the basement of the hotel, and this is where we have our Liberty Hall, which is our event space. We created this lounge style that is less conducive to your typical conventional meetings. However, it's good for creative minds. And if you walk around the corner, you can see over here, Hans, how everything is being set up right now for another event tonight.
What do your clients like the most about this?
That it is not your typical event space, and so they can really creatively create something that is not what you can get anywhere else. So it's more like a studio in that sense, rather than like a typical meeting space.
This looks extremely refreshing to me.
We actually have our gym right over here.
Do you consider that as important for a hotel like you?
Yeah, I think it's a must. You don't have to have it very big. It's a small little gym, probably about 500 square feet, but it does the trick. There used to be a boxing ring in the sub-basement of the hotel as well, so we kind of like took that cue and rebuilt it back in here. So we like to use the history of whatever the building has and try to bring it back into the building as well. The main root between everything is that we're being very indigenous to the cities that we're in. So in Seattle, you know that you're in Seattle. In Portland, you know that you're in Portland. In New York, you know that you're in New York. And that is kind of like the main characterization of what the hotels are all about and what the brand is all about as well.
So that's the totally opposite compared to the hotels who have a really standardized brand, standardized rooms.
Totally, yeah. And I think that is the big thing in the next wave for the future, because everything has become so generic in hotels nowadays. If you're in Moscow or in Japan or in Amsterdam and you're staying at a certain brand, most of the time it's like, where am I exactly? Here you'll always know that you're in a different Ace hotel, in a different city, in a different country. And I think that is really important, and that's what the guests of the future want, as far as I'm concerned.